Hey everyone, this is Francine at Purposeful Credit Solutions. I'm starting my YouTube channel, and this is purely for credit education. If you need or want a free 30-minute credit consultation, you can just click the link in my bio and we'd be happy to help you. So let's talk charge-offs. I know on YouTube, a lot of times people say, don't pay charge-offs. Well, they're only giving you half the information. So what happens is, let's talk about what a charge-off is. A charge-off is primarily is when someone doesn't make a payment on their account per the terms and conditions of the contract you signed. It starts to age. It goes from 30 to 60, 90, 120, 180. And so the lender decides at some point it's not collectible, or they can't collect on it, and they're going to charge off the account. Well, when they charge off the account, what they're doing is they're taking off the account off their balance sheet. They're taking it off their accounts receivable. And more than likely, they're going to sell it to a collector for pennies on the dollar. So now that account that's charged off, it's going to appear on your credit report as charged off. So now that it's been sold, there should not be a balance on your credit report for a charged off account. Because remember, it's been sold, so they no longer own the account. So they can report it as a status on this particular account as charged off. The balance should be zero. So a lot of times, those balances on your credit report don't report as zero, and they should, especially when they sell it. So I think the first thing when you're dealing with the charge off, to understand what it is. It's just you're taking the account, the creditor is taking the account off their balance sheet. The second thing they should be doing, they'll probably send it to a collection agent. Okay. Now, sometimes they'll send it to their internal collections agent. A lot of times they'll send it to an external third-party collection agent. Okay, fine. So now you get this letter from a collection agency. And normally what those are called are dunning letters. That's a whole nother post. But the most important thing on your dunning letter, or this new letter from the collection account, it's called validation. And what they're going to say is that you have up to 30 days to request validation of this debt. You need to request for validation of the debt. Absolutely. Please ask them to validate the debt. And what that means is this. You're saying, prove to me that I owe this debt. And they need to do that with a contract, billing statements, and then you need to know that they're licensed to collect in your state. And they can't just send you the billing statements. That means nothing. They need to send you the signed contract that you signed for this debt. They need to provide you the billing statements, and you need to know they're licensed to collect the debt. Okay? So most collection agents don't even have that information. They don't have that information. But for the few that do, once they validate that debt, that's when you need to move into debt negotiation. You need to negotiate that debt for, let's say you owe $1,000 and you want to pay, I don't know, $500. So you go ahead and you're going to negotiate with the collection agents, hey, the debt's validated. How about I pay $500 on this debt? That's $1,000. Or you can even go lower. I would start off at $300, but you're going to move towards debt negotiation. So that's the whole thing with charged off accounts, with collection agents and what it is. Now, as far as your credit report, when that debt is sold to another collection agent, the original creditor should zero out that balance. It'll still say the account status is charged off, but you need to dispute that account to zero out that balance. You don't necessarily, depending on what's how much payment history, how much good payment history, how long the debt is, there's a lot of factors involved. You don't need to necessarily delete the debt. You just need to make sure they zero out the balance on that debt. Why? Because if you had that account, let's say it's a credit card account, and you had that account for like 10 years, and let's say 2 years ago, you were laid off, you got sick, and you could not keep up the payments. Well, the debt charged off, but you had 8 years of great payment history, you made your payments on time. When you move towards deletion, you're going to delete all that great payment history, and you don't want to do that. So what you're going to do is you're going to move towards updating that account to zero out that balance. And what happens is when you zero out that balance, it'll drop your credit utilization. If you don't, it's gonna, I'm sorry, I just lost my train of thought. It's gonna zero out your that balance, and it's gonna drop your credit utilization, and it's gonna increase your score. So that's why you have to look at when you start disputing accounts, you want to look at updating versus deleting. You don't want to take off great payment history where you may have had 8 years of perfect payment history and the last 2 years you had a couple of problems. So that's the big thing with deleting versus updating. You have to look at all factors of an account before you decide to update or delete. So you want to dispute with all 3 credit bureaus and say, hey, this account is charged off. You need to zero out this account. You also need to go to the collection agency. You need to go to the original creditor and say, oh, no, you charged it off. You took it off your balance sheet. You need to zero out this balance immediately because you sold this debt to a collection agency. Next point, the collection agent and the original creditor for the same debt should not appear on your credit report. That's when you move towards deletion of the collection agent. Because what they're essentially doing is messing with your debt to income ratio, because they're saying you owe the same debt twice, one for the original creditor and one for the collection agency. So you want to make sure you dispute to delete off one of those, okay? So I would go for the collection agency because, you can zero out that balance, but I pretty much, you don't really want any collection agents on your credit report. So I hope this video helps someone. I will be dropping more videos soon. If you haven't subscribed to my page, please do so now. Just click on the link. Click on the button. And then if you need a free credit analysis, I give a free 30-minute credit analysis to review your credit score. And I'll talk to you about your credit. Please click on the link. Please click on the calendar link, and we'll be happy to schedule that with you. Anyway, I hope you all learned something. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.